Hi, I am so excited to come to you live today to share with you how to let go of your limiting beliefs. I am excited to share a few tips that will support you in letting go of those. I am Coach Cori Sartori. I help women heal from codependent relationships, grow their confidence, and start living a life they love. I wanted to talk to you today about limiting beliefs because I know it is something that comes up for all of us at some time in our life or another. And our limiting beliefs really started when we were kids. I think a lot of our limiting beliefs came from parents or teachers or church leaders or other kids. And so I know that limiting beliefs can hold you back in achieving the things that you want. And a lot of times we're not really aware of our limiting beliefs. Sometimes we don't know them, or maybe we know that we have this limiting belief, but we don't know the root cause. And so I wanted to share with you how to connect to those limiting beliefs and how to let go of those limiting beliefs. So something that came up for me when I was prepping for this live is the limiting beliefs that I carried with me throughout my life. And one of the things that came up for me is when I was in junior high school, when I was probably about 13, I transferred from one junior high school to another, and right, my whole life I had been around the same kids, and then I changed junior high schools, and so I was around all these people that I didn't know, and I was very shy. When I was younger, I was very shy, and I remember going to this new school, and because I was shy, like I was super shy, so I would wear sunglasses, and just to here's my wall, here's my protection. You can't see my eyes, so I'm protected. And so people would tell me that I'm a bitch because I was shy, right? So it started when I was 13. Oh, Cori's a bitch. She's a bitch. And I'm not, but it started to become my story, and it started to become my limiting belief. And it was something that I allowed to be true for me. So it was something that other people were telling me when I was 13, 14, 15. By the time I'm 16 years old, I'm telling other people, well, I'm a bitch. That's just how I am. And it was a story, a limiting belief that I told myself all the way until I was 32. And I remember I was in a work meeting, and I don't remember exactly the situation where it was happening, but I made a comment. I was like, oh, well, I'm a bitch, just joking. And another gal that was working with me, she's like, why do you say that about yourself? That's not true. Like, you're the most loving, kind person. You take care of everybody, and you are so motherly and kind to everybody. Why do you keep saying that about yourself? And I was just like, oh my God, I don't even know. And it made me realize that that was a limiting belief that I had been carrying around for over 15 years. And it wasn't serving me because it was a way for me to build walls and to not let people in by just saying, well, I'm a bitch, right? If somebody didn't like me, I was like, well, it doesn't matter because I'm a bitch, right? Like, I just let it be true for me, even though it wasn't true. And it was a limiting belief. It was holding me back from being my fun, outgoing the person I really am. Like, that's my truth. The truth is I'm very motherly. I love people. I love connecting. I love helping others grow, but I just let that limiting belief control so much of my life. And so once I built that awareness around it, I was able to let it go. And so I want to offer you a couple tips today on how to let go of your limiting beliefs. And the first thing is to identify what those limiting beliefs are. It is really important to build that awareness, right? Like, I didn't know that me saying that I'm a bitch all the time, I didn't know that was a limiting belief. I didn't know how much it was holding me back in my life until I knew, right? I didn't know until I knew. And so taking the time to build awareness around what your limiting beliefs are is really powerful. And you can do this in so many ways. When I work with clients, we work through a guided meditation where I help you tune into your limiting beliefs and where they come from. And your limiting beliefs aren't always just about yourself. You can have limiting beliefs about the world, about others, and all of those are holding you back in one way or another, and you just may not be aware of it. And so building that awareness, whether it's through meditation or maybe it's just getting feedback from family and friends and asking them, like, hey, do you feel like there's any limiting belief I have about myself? And make sure that when you're enrolling somebody else in this conversation, there's somebody that you can trust and that is kind and wants to support you in being your best self. Don't enroll those negative people because they're not gonna help you. So you can also journal. One thing that's come up for me in the past week that has been really helpful is I was talking to my energy worker, and she said to be aware of my triggers. She said, when you feel those negative feelings or those negative emotions come up for you, that's a trigger. And that's an opportunity to tune in, place your hand on your heart and breathe and see, why is that coming up for you? Because a lot of time those triggers or those negative feelings that you feel, they come from your limiting beliefs, right? So, that really helped me because, as an entrepreneur, I get the self-doubt and I get the fear. It comes up for me. And when I was talking with her and she said, listen to those triggers and tune in, it made me realize, like, oh my gosh, well, that self-doubt and that fear comes from back when I was a teenager. When I was 14 years old, I had these dreams and aspirations of doing modeling and acting. And so I started doing it, and then I would go to these consultations with potential agents, and they're just so critical, and they tell you you're not pretty enough, you're not skinny enough, your nose is too round. And so that's where that self-doubt started coming up for me. And so tune into those triggers. When you feel those negative emotions, whether it's self-doubt or fear, take a moment to sit with it and see why it's coming up for you, because that might be where your limiting belief is coming from. And maybe you can tune in and look into your past and see why you're having that limiting belief. So meditate on it, tune into your triggers, and journaling can be really powerful for you as well, because journaling really helps build self-awareness. So if you go into a day and you feel like you are holding yourself back or you're having a limiting belief about yourself, take time to sit and journal with it and see maybe why it's coming up. So that's the first thing I want to offer you is you need to build awareness. You need to identify what your limiting beliefs are, so then you can break through them. The next thing that I want to offer you is identify the root cause of those limiting beliefs. So where did it come from, right? We just talked about that with triggers. So when it comes up, where did it come from? And I shared with you that I guide my clients through a meditation to help them tune in. And when we're doing that guided meditation, guided visualization, if you will, I'm asking them to go back into they create a timeline, right? They create their life timeline, and I want them to go back and listen to their intuition and tune in to see when was the first time that limiting belief came into their life. And I have them tune in and listen to their intuition, right? It's not a thought response, it's a gut response, it's subconscious. And then I ask them to go even further back if they don't feel like that was the first time it ever happened. And so identifying the root cause of those limiting beliefs can be really powerful. And again, you can do this through meditation, or you can do it through journaling, or even having a conversation with your mom or your father or your sister or your brother or somebody that was around in your childhood, and just having those conversations of where that came from. And I think it's really powerful for me. This last year going through breast cancer, I really created a powerful, stronger relationship with my mom and sister. And so being able to sit down and have those conversations with them of like, this is how I'm showing up, or this is who I'm being, and can you give me any insight? That can be really, really helpful. So that's the second thing. And the third thing that I want to offer you with letting go of limiting beliefs is making the choice to replace them with powerful, inspiring beliefs, right? So if you have a limiting belief of I'm not good enough, when you hear that come up in your mind, you need to shut it down. And I think I've shared with you guys before that when I have those negative thoughts or something negative comes into my mind, I say out loud, stop. I just stop. And then I choose to replace it with a positive thought, a positive affirmation. And so choosing to shift that limiting belief and turn it into an empowering belief, right? If your belief is I'm not good enough, maybe your belief that you replace it with is I am powerful, I am strong, I am brave, I am confident, I am badass, and I'm doing big things in this world. And so make the time to stop the thought and replace it with something powerful. And the more you practice this and the more you do this, that thought will start to go away. And it's a practice, right? It's not going to be perfect, and it may never be perfect, right? I've been practicing, letting go of my limiting beliefs for years, but they still come up. And there's moments where they're harder than others, but being able to hear it and shut it down and replace it with something else helps me stay confident. It helps me keep moving forward and feeling great about who I am, and I continue to show up in the world. So I just want to review with you The 3 tips on letting go of your limiting beliefs is the first one is to identify it. So taking time to tune in. When you feel that energy doesn't feel good, that negative energy, or, you're excited and you're doing something and somebody tells you can't, or you'll never have that, like, tune in, like, where are those limiting beliefs coming from? And be aware of those triggers, right? So if you feel that negative emotion or that negative thought come up, stop it and just kind of sit with it and breathe. And I think that's been powerful for me, is when I feel that negative emotion, is to just stop the thought and just tune into my breath. So first thing is identify your limiting beliefs. The second one is to identify the root cause. And so taking the time to journal again, or meditate, or just have those conversations with people in your life that were there around your childhood or when you were younger, right? Not all of our limiting beliefs come from our childhood, but a lot of them do. I mean, for me, a lot of my limiting beliefs came from my teenage years. Like, oh my gosh, I never wish anybody like to have to go through their teenage years again, because they're hard. And a lot of our limiting beliefs come up in that time of our life, and then we hold on to it, right? Like, our childhood is such a small amount of our life, but we spend our whole adulthood trying to heal from all the trauma, the limiting beliefs, and the bullshit from our childhood. And so really identifying the root cause can help you overcome it. It can help you work through it and be aware of it. And then the last thing is replace those beliefs with empowering thoughts. So when you hear that limiting belief come up for you, say stop, and then replace it with those positive affirmations, those empowering beliefs, and continue to do it. Like, letting go of those limiting beliefs is just it'll launch you into the person that you are supposed to be. So I hope that added value to you. I hope that those tips on letting go of your limiting beliefs are powerful and will help you move forward in your life. I know that letting go of my limiting beliefs has definitely helped me step into my power and become the person that I'm meant to be. I do have one more coaching spot left for January, and then I'm opening up my books in February for coaching. So if you are interested in digging more into letting go of your limiting beliefs, this is something that we talk about in my program, Step Into Your Power. I mean, there's so many good things in Step Into Your Power. We talk about forgiveness, self-love, confidence, creating your vision and your goals, and helping you create healthy routines that are for your mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical health. We talk about habits and letting go of limiting beliefs and so much more. So if you are ready to transform your life, if you are ready to start living a life you love, go ahead and send me a DM right now, and let's get connected, and I can share more with you what I do as a coach. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Namaste.